what I'm going to do now is for you to think about how you in your life have dealt with anything that has touched your heart. It might have moved you in a number of different ways. You might have felt hurt or rejected or betrayed. You might be grieving a loss. You might be feeling that someone's trampled all over your heart. But I'm just going to leave these pictures from the Heart's Whisper pack of cards on the screen for a few moments for you to reflect which of these pictures chooses you and what it's saying about your heart right here today and what the feelings are that come up. So we'll just have a few moments of silence for you to reflect on the impact of these pictures, all of the heart, but quite different. These Heart's Whisper cards are very powerful, and they've all been painted by Katerina, who's in Ukraine. And those of you who follow her on Facebook will know that she's painted stones and she's painted pictures for the cards, the Heart's Whisper cards, to express some of the things that she's been going through in Ukraine during the war. And they are so powerful. And she's a very, very special lady. But this is just an example how it can bring a vague feeling into much sharper focus when a card speaks to you. Now, this is the Heart's Whisper deck, which I mentioned earlier. And you'll see a picture of Katerina there in the center of the picture on the right, and Yasmin, who is like an agent for the cards over here in the UK. And some of them tell the story of what's been happening in the war, and others are more general and have pictures that any of us could use at any time. And I have to say, they are having a huge impact on counsellors. And not only do they help us, but they also help support Katerina. So it's something to think about. And you can find more at the website, which I've put there. Why don't we road test this on a male academic scientist and see how he gets on with cards and a drawing? Well, I found one. In fact, my husband found me one. His friend Stephen is exactly that sort of person, and he agreed to do this demo with me. Stephen, thank you for your help today. Tell us a little bit about your interest in the heart, first of all.
Well, I'm a retired GP, but I continue to do a little bit of counselling and coaching. My interests have converged very much on the heart, by which we mean two things: not only a physical organ, but a kind of centre of ourselves, which is our real essence, and out of which a lot of things happen, which can be damaged and which can be restored, and has some very interesting dynamics associated with it.
Yeah.
I've written a small book showing how you can have some breathing exercises that enable you to get in, as it were, in tune with the rhythm of your heart. The research of an institute called the Heart Math Institute in California have made a lot of scientific discoveries about the significance of the heart. And the Bible refers to the heart almost 1,000 times. And I'm looking at correlations between the science and the descriptions of the heart in the ancient Bible.
That sounds fascinating. So here I'm presenting you with some pictures. What sort of feelings were coming up for you as you looked at the cards?
I have developed a way of assessing almost everything by the impact it has on my heart when I look at it or think about it. And so as I was holding these cards, all with different pictures on, I'm just sensing which of them is kind of resonating with me. And there were four that seemed to stand out because they expressed themes that seemed to me significant. This one shows the heart as having a lock and keys potentially opening it. This one shows a tree whose fruit appears to be hearts. This kind of illustrates a theme where the heart can produce fruit, or fruit can be the heart. I like exploring that kind of thought. And then the final two are rather similar to each other. They both show a lighthouse. This one with a heart, which is in the center of the thing that's generating light. And this one, contrasting, shows at the bottom of the picture a person who is in some distress. At least that's what it appears to me. I haven't had enough time to look at it in detail. That is incorporated into the picture of the heart emitting radiations or light or whatever, which is a very important scientific theme of the frequencies that our heart emits.
Wow, I love it. So I asked you to choose one of those that you would be able to draw for us.
Yes.
So which one have you chosen?
I've chosen this one, the relatively simple one of the two that shows the lighthouse.
Thank you.
I'm going to start by drawing the heart, and it's surrounded by light. It's showing vibrancy. It's got a roof on it, a sort of hat. Our hearts have great connections with our head, and particularly with our brain, and our heart has a brain inside it, and it's sitting on the top of a lighthouse, which we'll make very simple. And then out of the lighthouse come these emanations in a sort of pink colour. The sort of upper and a lower limit, but there's vibrations coming out in all directions, which have particular patterns. They are at certain frequencies, and they carry certain messages with them, including emotions. And finally, we have a blue sky which surrounds it all. Maybe I want to thicken the heart up a bit, because it's not just an outline, it's got stuff in it as well. It's got little hearts in it, and it's full of vibrancy and significance. So we'll do that.
So this is now your picture, Stephen. This is what we'll be working with. Which part of the picture interests you most?
It's the heart in the centre and the stuff that's coming out, that's radiating out from it.
I want to try and use your language as much as possible, so correct me if you need to, but tune into what your heart, how your heart is responding to that. What feelings come up, what thoughts come up.
There's a kind of excitement, thought of, I wonder where this will go.
Can we put the word excitement down somewhere and think about the colour you would use for excitement, just so that we don't lose any of these words that come up to you?
I'll choose orange, I think.
This is an interesting question to think about. If this was a piece of artwork in an art gallery and it had a title underneath, a feeling title, a felt title?
Something on the lines of thriving in a storm.
I like that. Shall we put thriving in a storm there? I want to offer you that you are the lighthouse. How does that sit with you?
I'm happy with that thought. I think our purpose in the world is to be kind of lights, however we should conceive that. People who can help others by our presence and can perhaps illuminate truths or realities. And I like that sense that at least a part of me is becoming something of a soundly anchored edifice that can also have an influence and can spread out in some way.
And this lighthouse is also thriving in a storm.
Yes, the word foundation comes. Hold on to what we know is most true in the deepest sense.
Maybe we could put the word foundation there.
Kind of want to put a circle around it to sort of make it look a bit more solid.
Okay.
The heart, although it's kind of connected with emotions and feelings, needs to be grounded in solid reality. What I've discovered through my study of science as well as medicine as well as spirituality is the central connection of love holding things together.
Mm.
And that sense that there's a purpose in the universe, which is actually based on love, it's actually a foundational scientific idea. There is that connection of focusing on being loved, living loved. That's one of my big foundations.
Living loved was a powerful phrase. I like that. How would you like to put that into the picture?
Living loved.
That's beautiful.
The only thing that really matters is true, profound, and love that is real and not just on the surface. One message coming is that the worse the storm is, the more important it is to be sending out light. We're in troubled times when a lot of people are facing personal storms, and it's a challenge to us to think how we can be there for people, carefully thinking what we can most do and probably what we can most be, particularly in hard times.
So relevant that, isn't it? In so many different ways, both globally and personally, for so many people.
Yes.
Just see what else comes to you as you look at your picture.
As I was looking at the depiction of storm clouds and at the movement of air, I was reminded of the importance of our breathing when we're moving air in and out of us, and how significant that is with a particular exercise that I teach, which is about slowing down the breathing and focusing on the heart at the same time. It's a way of grounding, a way of relaxing, a way of focusing on something positive, a way of improving the delivery of oxygen to our tissues, a way of connecting heart with head, and all sorts of things. So I'm glad for that reminder.
Is that something you could very simply demonstrate for us, just quite quickly?
Yes, there are 3 steps basically. First, step 1 is to become aware of our breathing and to slow it down so that we breathe in and out about to the count of 5 seconds in and about 5 seconds out, and let that be comfortable. Second aspect is to become aware of our heart. It helps sometimes to put one's hand on the heart, because then you're making a physical connection. And again, breathe slowly in and out, focusing on the heart. And thirdly is to access a positive emotion. Gratitude is the best one, the easiest one to start with. Something you love or really appreciate. Could be a person, could be a memory, could be something going well. And just tune into that sense of, I really appreciate that. I'm so grateful that that's happening. I'm so glad that person's in my life. So with that thought or that person in our mind, we carry on with the slow breathing with the focus on the heart, breathing in and out through the heart. And that's the foundation of several different exercises which can be used to achieve all sorts of good things, replacing negative states with more positive ones.
Well, Stephen, it's been a real treat to have a heart scientist with us doing this exercise, and I'm so grateful to you.
I've enjoyed the exercise and I like being drawn out in more than one way.
Indeed. Stephen, a big thank you very much from my heart.
Thank you.